Washington Commanders, HTTC. Hail to the Commanders. Washington has won their first playoff game since 2005. Almost 20 years since we last won a playoff game. And who was it against? The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucky Irvin, 17 rushes, 77 yards. Baker Mayfield threw for 185. Jayden Daniels threw for 286, 2 touchdowns. Here was the turning point of the game. Washington and the Bucks, they were, how do I want to say it? They were very back and forth. Seemed like Washington had the lead, and then the Bucks were capitalizing, and then Washington came back. You know, it wasn't like a spectacular game. But when Washington needed to get first downs and needed to drive down the field, we did it. Now, I don't like Dan Quinn going for it on 4th and goal when the score was 13-17. Because what could have happened was we could have kicked the field goal, 16-17. Bucks go down, get themselves a field goal. Okay, 20-16. And then we capitalize on a touchdown, 23-20. And then we could have went from there. But instead, I think it was 87% on 4th down that Washington converted, which was the highest in the league at that. I mean, it's good and all, but this is the playoffs. And in the playoffs, people are going to game plan for that. They're going to see what you do well, what you don't do well, and things of that magnitude. But it was a pretty good game. Baker Mayfield, costly fumble. You guys just got the ball back, and they were trying to be cute with their play calling. But Washington was all over that. And you can just tell by the way that the ball snapped that Baker didn't have a good set to it. It seemed like everybody else moved but the center, even though Baker was telling him to snap the ball, and it was very delayed. It was very delayed. And that led to a score. Not only that, the Bucks had some key injuries. They had Jamel Dean, who was playing pretty well on Terry McLaurin, go down in the third quarter. And Antoine Whitfield, we did a good job of not throwing his way, because he was in the middle of the field, and then they were like, man, he's not getting involved. Brought him down into the box, got a little more involved. I think that guy's name was, I think his last name was Yancey. He is going to be a stud for the Bucks, because he was in that backfield after, I want to say, midway through the second quarter. He was all over those read option plays. He was in the backfield. He was getting Eckler. He was getting Brian Robinson. He was stumping Jayden Daniels. And guess what? It just wasn't enough. Because something about Washington being in these do-or-die situations, they just know when to make it happen. When there was, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and Jayden Daniels ran to the outside and literally threw his body over the first down marker, that sets something. And this franchise, with how quick they've turned it around, there's a good future. Now, Washington has to go face the Detroit Lions, a team that can put up 45, 55 points in the blink of an eye. We got our hands full next week. We really do. But I'm excited. I'm happy. Washington congratulations. And I'm excited. I know everybody else is excited for that organization. I know that Harris, our owner, I know he is pretty ecstatic that he has himself a made man in Dan Quinn that's turned the franchise around. Hopefully, I hope that Cliff Kingsbury stays with us. I really hope so because his play calling is just astronomical. And the fact that he has Caleb Williams, I think Johnny Manziel, I think Baker Mayfield, and Kyler Murray all underneath his belt that have won Heisman's. And then not only that, you have Jaden Daniels who won a Heisman, not with Cliff Kingsbury, but it works. It works, and he has something there. So I hope he does stay. But congratulations to Washington, and we will see Detroit in Detroit next week. I'm praying to the gods.